Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. My name is Chris. And for today's video, what I have coming through is truly letting yourself express yourself to the fullest. And the thing is, a lot of times you might be even looking at yourself in a way that just in a light that doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like it's you, it doesn't feel like you're fully authentically expressing yourself in the best way possible. And the thing with that is it's actually true. To a certain degree, it is true. But a lot of the times when you feel like that, it's just that there's another quality, another aspect of you that you didn't know was true, didn't know that it was possible to even think, feel, operate, to even look in that way. And so it's really getting to know yourself and who you're here to be and what qualities that you want to possess and what you want to do and what you're here to create. It's understanding the depth of your own power, your own force, your own possibilities. To even know that you don't even put up with any type of inadequate conversations or movement or even the way that you or someone uh, perceives a situation that you correct them. And it's not correcting them to break them down, but it's also calling them out on on their BS, on the fact that they're not even putting in the work to actually take a look at what's actually happening, and for it to not be such a surface level conversation or dynamic or flow, but it's that you're truly genuinely looking for depth and you're understanding a bit better what this depth possibly could be. And you're starting to put in the little pieces and articulate to verbalize that this is the depth that you want out of life, and to holding up people to that standard and not letting someone just come in, wreak havoc, or say whatever little comment just because, out of, trying to be nice or trying to be a good person or even trying to make sure that you don't cause chaos or mental emotional disturbance and distress in someone. Like, to a certain degree, yes, you can do all those things without harming someone and debilitating them, without breaking them down and completely making them feel not even human, right, to that degree. And I know that the people that are watching this, you understand what that means. Either it's you've done a variation of it and you're like, oh, this does not feel good, or that you've seen that happen to others and you're like, no, that is unacceptable, or that someone has done that to you and you're noticing that, you know what, I don't want to repeat what others have done. And so you're learning to hold that standard and knowing that what you're here to do, who you're here to be, what you are going to create is a full depth in what life has to offer and what you have to offer. That no matter what degree that someone comes in with, it teaches you something. It teaches you something and it teaches them something. And then you get to create something a little bit more different. And you move through this flow as time goes on. You continue to move through these experiences and these levels of depth to even know that the people that you have given your power to, you take it back from them because you've given so much, and that they've just taken and taken and taken and enjoyed it and indulged in it. But at the same time, they didn't know how to draw boundaries themselves, nor actually hold you in reverence to what it is that you're giving to them, to actually hold what you're giving to them precious, to for you to even realize that they don't have the depth nor the quality nor the capacity to hold more of you. And so it's not, and I know, okay, so let me slow down a little bit. It's, I feel like I'm talking a little bit more on in regards to a relationship, something a bit more romantic, but at the same time, this can be applied to other relationships that you're currently experiencing. But let me keep this more in alignment with a romantic relationship, a potential possibility slash situationship type of situation like thing. Um, so yes, you're leaning into this place and this person that you've given a lot of your essence to. Sorry, I just got some background noise and some kids in the way, so I had to start walking. So yes, as I was saying, you're realizing that everything that you've given to this person, this you've shown the most depth that you've shown, you've grown, you put in the work to correct yourself, you put in the effort to change, um, to not necessarily change yourself, but it's to know that you don't want to hurt this person, and you're making sure that you treat them well. And not only them, but they are treating you well and holding them up. And you're wanting more, but they don't have the capacity to give you more. And so you're realizing that wait, you're actually giving more than what they have been giving, and you're giving more, and that they're not where you are at. They're not looking for the same thing that you're looking for, nor are they in the mindscape that you're in, right? And so you're navigating through that little um, journey. The whole thing is that you're learning a little bit more about yourself, and you're learning how you can do things differently, do things in a way where you get to take back a little bit more of the power that you gave. Because you did invest quite a bit of yourself in hopes that, this person would be able to show up, be present, grow, build with you, alongside with you. But at the same time, you realize that, you know what, that's not happening because you're both on your own respective journeys. And at this moment, you're just going side by side. So it's not an ending, nor is it a moving forward. But it just is what it is. And you're learning. You're learning more about yourself. You're learning more about what you're here to do, who you're here to be, and that you don't need to rush to move ahead in this dynamic, in this situation. That the direction you're going in just could be that the person that you've met or come across is a temporary person. And you're learning that you don't want something temporary, you want something long term. At the same time, this person just could be teaching you something a little bit more about you, and to hold a little bit of your own depth, of your own power to yourself, to not to remind you to hold yourself powerful, because you are powerful, to be more empowered. And it's just allowing people to admire that power that you hold, the depth that you have. You're showing people who you are, without giving them necessarily anything more, and without losing yourself in the process. That journey is something. It's something quite magical when you start to learn about more of you. You're learning more about what your clear boundaries are, and that you're also not in a rush to get to a certain state, to get to a certain experience, because the depth is what matters. You're someone that has so much depth, and you know that. And somehow you've been trying to explain what that is, but you're kind of over explaining yourself and explaining what your depth is, who you are. It's not the way it goes. Someone who has depth, they see it. You don't even have to explain it, and they see it. They know it. And they understand how valuable you are. And you'll know exactly when you give depth or you hold yourself in such integrity when you are with someone. You understand that. You know that. And you move through it. You will continue to move through it. Thing is, this doesn't take away from the emotions that you're experiencing. It will never take away from the emotions. It will never take away from the heaviness, and to actually face these intensities. But this is how you learn to grow, to build, to strengthen yourself. And yes, I know that you've gone through quite a bit of it throughout your life, and you're having to do it again a little bit more. And that, yeah, it's exhausting. You learning more about your own strength, your own depth, your own power. As exhausting as it is, you're seeing yourself for the first time in a way that you've never thought you would. Let yourself lean into who you are here to be. Let yourself become the most fullest person. And that fullness is filled with you. Being full of your own self, of your own power, of your own magic, of your own depth. That's something. And it's quite magical to see yourself, hold yourself in such reverence, with such power, with such depth. It is quite a bit. But the thing is, this is where you begin to honor yourself in a whole different light. Honor yourself in a way that someone would honor you. That you want this person to honor you. Give yourself the attention, the space, the peace, make your own decisions. It's okay that you consult with others, but at the end of the day, you're the one to decide what is best for you and the direction that you want to move in. You are the only one that will know how to direct yourself. And the same goes for the integrity that you have showed up in relationships. That the effort that you put in, someone may not define it as effort, The thing is, you know that you put in the effort. Maybe it wasn't good enough. That is a possibility. Maybe you could have done more. That is also a possibility. But you're here to purely be in your own depth of fire. And I'm saying it like that, depth of fire, because to be able to see your depth, to be able to want to have depth, it requires an extensive amount of power, amount of fire, amount of transformation, wanting to be redefined in a way that you've never been defined before. That does require an extensive amount of power, a power that exists within you. So live in your own power and know that what you are here to be, who you are here to be, who you create with, who you play with, who you build and grow and develop life with. And even the same person that you may have grown with and loved for so long, just could be that you're in a state where things are a little bit off centered and you just can't seem to be going down the same path. But the thing is, there is a little place where you both do align. So listen to that. Listen to that depth, because it will teach you a little bit more about who you're here to be. And that you can still, even with so much love, so much abundance, so much um, devotion, that you can still go along this journey with this person, and that just what you're experiencing right now is what it is. That there is something more and available. At the same time, you are not willing to let go of this power, this wholeness, this depth. You want to learn it. You're wanting to see more. And you know what? Sometimes this is what depth gives you. It's giving space and time for transition to happen, space and time for thoughts to exist, space and time to see what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing, or even to make a decision, even to be aware of something, like giving yourself the space to digest, to process it, for you to make a well resourced, a well balanced, what is it, decision in the end. It takes quite a bit. It takes quite a bit of depth within you, quite a bit of power, quite a bit of energy, especially right now during this seasonal shift. Either you are physically, so externally, environmentally going through a seasonal shift, or it's an internal seasonal shift. This seasonal shift happens when you call for depth, when you call for more, when you've put in the more and the other person hasn't stepped in, or the other person called in for more and you stepped in, but they weren't. So, whichever position you're in, give yourself time to process it, to make an informed decision in the end, to plant new seeds if need be, to nurture the ones that you've already planted, to know that you can still go alongside this person in this journey, and that's available. So, with that little bit, I know that there's more and more, and I'm going to go on, but I feel like that's like a nice little sweet spot to leave it at. I really hope that this provided you a little bit of something to walk away with and to get to know yourself a little bit more. That supports you along your journey, along your path, and allows you to understand a little bit more of the power and the strength that you have. And this is something that is not sourced from anywhere else but from within. Your power and your strength is sourced from within. And that is magic. This is where you begin to operate outside of your reptilian mind, outside of your fight or flight, your basic nervous system, and you operate from a place of being a more, what is it, enlightened, awakened being. And I know that for some, these words just they don't have that depth and that grounding just yet, but for you to even be hearing this message, for sure um, you've stepped into this path, and for sure you're learning what these words actually mean and what it actually looks like and how to practice it. So, with that little bit, I'm going to be leaving the message here. I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.